Being the face of boxing is a reputation that all elite fighters and champions dream of. But what is behind this prestigious status? Wins, losses, or draws? Or maybe popularity and the love of the public? And what about criticism? Can a fighter who has haters be considered the face of boxing? People often take the fact for granted without thinking about such questions. But today, we propose to understand in detail how this mythical figure is formed, using the example of the current leader of the era, Saul Canelo Alvarez. And now, please subscribe to Legendary Boxing Classics. And of course, don't forget to give us a like, comment, and share the video on social media. Enjoy watching. Every boxing era brings forth new heroes, who in turn change boxing itself. Like any other sport, boxing has evolved through iconic personalities. Each of them had a different approach. Some broke stereotypes, others mesmerized with their charisma, and there was one who showed something beastly. It all has to do with the changing society and the demands it creates. We should also mention politics. After all, boxing and politics are always connected. An iconic boxer is more than just a leader of his sport. He is a mirror of the era. The first truly iconic character was Joe Louis. It was during Louis's time that boxing gained a high level of popularity in society. In boxing history, the Brown Bomber is remembered as a humble man who dominated the heavyweight division. Outside the ring, he was spoken of as a true patriot. Joe Louis was replaced by his complete antipode, Muhammad Ali. He broke all stereotypes in the ring, proving that such a brutal sport could be elegant. Ali was a rebel and a great orator, but unlike his predecessor, he had clear signs of an anti-hero. Muhammad said whatever he thought, often crossing the line. In fact, he started the trend of what is now called trash talk. The Ali era was replaced by the Fabulous Four, led by the intelligent Sugar Ray Leonard. During the time of the Four Kings, boxing reached its peak. The late 80s was the era of Iron Mike Tyson, dictating ferocity. Destruction in the ring was accompanied by scandal and shocking antics outside the ring. The public wanted spectacle, and they were getting it. In the 90s, when it seemed that there was nothing to surprise, a new generation of superstars emerged. Oscar De La Hoya and Roy Jones Jr. were the faces of this era, and the decline of these legends in the early noughties came with the meteoric rise of two others, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Each of them is great in their own way, each unique in their own way. Pacquiao and Mayweather, like hero and anti-hero, have ruled boxing for 2 decades. They have set their own standard of boxing excellence and, of course, set cosmic financial benchmarks for earnings. With Mayweather's retirement, boxing was left without a leader. Andre Ward, Gennady Golovkin, and Vasyl Lomachenko tried to take his place. Each of them, for a short period of time, became the leader pound for pound. But nobody managed to become the new face of boxing. It turned out that such a serious reputation is not for everyone, and requires not only skills in the ring, but something more. However, according to Mayweather, he passed the baton while he was still on top. Like Floyd said, this guy's time has truly come, and right now, the era of Canelo Alvarez is lasting. But is it that clear-cut? Every great champion whose name was given to the boxing era worked on his reputation for decades. And this work started from childhood. Boxing is part of the Alvarez family DNA. Saul has 6 older brothers, and all boxers. Obviously, Canelo followed their example. He was impressed when he saw his brother, Rigoberto, make his professional debut. Despite being the youngest, Canelo is the one with the key attribute that none of the other brothers had.
Talento, ya, lo traía. Él tenía 10 años de edad. Pero yo le vi ese coraje, esa mirada, esa forma de tirar los golpes sin ni siquiera todavía tener ni la menor idea de lo que era boxear. Dije, este muchacho nació para esto.
Saul quickly understood the science of boxing, and his abilities allowed him to start his boxing career early. Mexicans do not linger in the amateur ring, and sometimes ignore amateur careers. Canelo competed twice at the Mexican Championships. First time he got silver, then it was gold, after which he moved up to the pros. The 15-year-old Alvarez made his light welterweight debut. This young kid fought men, and he was beating everyone convincingly. Canelo's best qualities are timing, durability, power, and combinations. Saul is not an overly fast fighter, but he has a good knack for calculating distance. This is especially important now that Alvarez is boxing at super middleweight, where taller opponents try to keep away from him. He is one of the most durable boxers in history, who has never lost early and has never been knocked out. The only dangerous episode happened in his fight with Jose Miguel Cotto. The 20-year-old Alvarez showed how he takes a punch and how he handles critical situations.
By the 19-year-old. And he is wobbled by a left hook, and he's in trouble, and Cotto's dumping him.
Alvarez is not a puncher, but he is capable of boxing in a power style. He created many beautiful knockouts with a mix of intelligence and timing.
As well as taking away his energy in every
One of Canelo's most valuable qualities is trainability. He is able to adopt his opponent's tricks and is not shy to enrich his fighting arsenal. Saul learned a lot from Floyd Mayweather and borrowed the technique of some Triple G punches. His wide range of actions make him one of the most impressive boxers of the 21st century. Fighting style is the most important component of a boxer's uniqueness. All iconic champions are one of a kind. They inspire people to try to cope with their style. Many have tried to flutter like Muhammad Ali, make a pendulum move like Mike Tyson, or defend like Mayweather, but such attempts always lead to failure. It's like masterpieces of art imitated by cheap copies that have nothing to do with the original. Canelo is one of those boxers who has created his own style. He has an impressive style that is really exciting to watch. Mexican style? No. Alvarez has little in common with the Mexican boxing school. He can be considered an aggressive counterpuncher, although in some cases, he chooses a more specific style. For example, in his first fight against Golovkin, he was backing up, using footwork and defense at the ropes. In the rematch, he decided to fight in the middle of the ring, using pressure. Canelo's style is a complex of skill and power. It's multi-punching and plasticity of defensive moves, combining floors and stretching the opponent by feints. Every move he makes is for a purpose. By watching him, young boxers can learn rare tricks and punch combos. Canelo mixes hooks with uppercuts, double punches, and changes levels. He has different variations of head-body and cross-body head-body combinations. Some punches take down defenses, while others hit the target. But the most spectacular looks like a combination of feints with punches. Canelo is a master of fake movements. He uses the famous feint with the throwing out of the right hand to remove the defense, and immediately hits the left uppercut to the head. He also does a deceptive left hand movement, indicates a liver punch, but hits between the gloves to the head, or distracts with a fake right to the gloves, and the real punch lands to the liver.
Even though Canelo has landed a lot of powerful shots during this fight, this is the most effective punch I think that he's landed in the entire
event. And the number of punches that are landing on both sides.
Oh, good body shot.
And this is how Canelo pulls back to get his opponent out of position, before landing an uppercut and ducks under a counterhook. Alvarez's defensive actions are versatile too. These include the high block, dodges, and parries. But the best thing he does is head roll, and it's the hardest trick to execute. If an inexperienced fighter tries to repeat it, he will probably increase the leverage of the punch and will be knocked out. But when he misses the perfect shot, he softens it up. It's not until you watch the slow motion replay of his action that you realize the level of risk this boxer is taking. Today, no other fighter uses such a great head movement.
Back. And he's on his back foot constantly, really getting anything going himself, Jacob. Right.
See, that's where he's that's
Decent defense from Jacob. The Mexican fired up.
Certainly, we have not mentioned all of Canelo's tricks, but only those that make his style so unique. His boxing style is something like if Floyd Mayweather and Julio Cesar Chavez's fighting styles could be mixed together. Unfortunately, Alvarez's style has become more primitive today. For sure, the years have taken their toll, and he leaves only those tools that are easier for him to use. But in every performance, he still proves that the amount of new tricks has not been exhausted yet. An excellent resume is the next component to becoming the face of boxing. In the record, everything is important. The number of titles and weight classes conquered, the quality of the beaten opposition, the number of defeated champions and Hall of Fame representatives, unique records and achievements. Saul Alvarez is currently a multi-champion who has conquered 4 divisions. He started his career at light welterweight, but he won the first title in the light middleweight division. It was the WBC belt, to which he added the WBA title later. Canelo won 3 titles in the middleweight division. He lacked the WBO belt to become the undisputed champion. But the title of this organization he decided to take in another weight. In 2019, Alvarez jumped over 1 division and took the belt away from Sergey Kovalev. It was the 3rd weight class where he became champion. After that, he moved down to super middleweight and completely cleaned up, defeating Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plante. He became the undisputed world champion. Canelo's accomplishments are impressive. He was the pound-for-pound leader 3 years in a row and was twice recognized as Boxer of the Year. But it's not the most flawless resume in history. Nevertheless, Alvarez's career continues, and he still has the opportunity to improve his legacy. At first glance, it seems that defeat cannot be the benchmark of becoming an iconic boxer. After all, losing sets a boxer back, but failure is part of life. A perfect record is a big exception. All legendary boxers have failed, whether in the professional or amateur. The question is, can a boxer evolve? Canelo had 2 losses on points in the amateur ring. However, he was just a kid. In his 5th pro fight. He got a draw against Jorge Juarez. In 2013, when Saul had more than 40 wins, he lost for the first time. He calls the defeat to Floyd Mayweather like a boxing lesson. It's what made him such a versatile fighter. Canelo learns from his opponents. He borrowed many elements of counterpunching and defensive moves from Mayweather.
So much bigger physically than Soto. Right hand by Canelo.
In 2017, Alvarez got a draw in the first fight against Golovkin, which most people rate as a loss. Canelo had a great game plan, but a lack of stamina prevented it from being realized. In the rematch, he fixed the flaw and proved that his boxing style continues to improve. Canelo lost to Dimitri Bivol in 2022, which was followed by a decline in the quality of his performances. Alvarez is still a champion and one of the best pound for pound. But now, every performance proves that his evolution as a boxer is over. Not one iconic boxer has escaped scandals. Everyone has controversial victories and different incidents outside the ring that affect recognizability. Some events boost popularity. Others add haters. There are plenty of scandalous episodes in Canelo Alvarez's career. It's interesting that all of them will lead to one source. It's the WBC. The World Boxing Council is the oldest organization based in Mexico. When Alvarez turned pro, he instantly became a crowd favorite. All Latinos became his fans in an instant. For promoters and TV platforms, a fighter with a huge fan base is the hen that lays the golden eggs. World Boxing Council President Mauricio Sulaiman has become a patron saint for Alvarez. The management of such organizations is supposed to be impartial to boxers, but Mauricio's actions say the opposite. The WBC management makes sure that Alvarez's fights always have a team for their referees present. This is the reason for the often terrible judges' scorecards. The first scandalous episode happened in 2013. It was a fight with Floyd Mayweather, in which Saul only won 2 rounds. But the notorious C.J. Ross put up an insane score of 114 to 114. That day, spectators considered it as a woman's nature, who is not given to understand boxing. In 2014, Alvarez fought Cuban Alessandri Lara. For Canelo, it was as uncomfortable an opponent as Mayweather. Saul won 3 rounds at best, but he got the decision win. Judge David Moretti, who is present at almost all of Canelo's fights, scored the fight 115 to 113. That is 7 to 5 rounds in favor of Alvarez. And the other referee, Levi Martynas, dared to score it 117 to 111. In his opinion, it was almost a one-sided fight, and Canelo won 9 rounds out of 12. In 2015, Saul Alvarez fairly defeated Miguel Cotto. But the fight was competitive. And what did the referees put up? Dave Moretti scored it at a completely unbelievable 119 to 109. That's insane. September 2017. Saul Alvarez boxes for the first time against Gennady Golovkin and loses. But the final result was a draw. Dave Moretti counted 115 to 113 to Golovkin. Now 2 other judges stood out. Don Trella scored it at a draw. But what really shocked everyone was the terrible Judge Adelaide Bird. She scored it 118 to 110. That is 10 to 2 in favor of Canelo. After the fight with Golovkin, Alvarez failed a doping test for steroids. Clenbuterol was found in his blood. WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman came to the rescue. He was as loyal as possible, and in every possible way favored Canelo. The story with clenbuterol was successfully settled. Everything was blamed on the fact that Saul allegedly ate too much steroid meat. Some boxers receive long disqualifications for such a violation, but Alvarez's suspension lasted only 6 months. But do boxing businessmen really think the people around them are so naive and don't understand anything? The close cooperation between the WBC and Canelo's team is also evidenced by the fact that the Mexican never makes official defenses. At the same time, he is not stripped of the belt. For this purpose, Mauricio Sulaiman created a special status of the champion. He is given the franchise belt, and in order to avoid criticism of the management, such a belt began to be awarded to other champions. Many viewers don't follow what goes on behind the scenes and don't know much about boxing politics. But boxing has always been corrupt, and all cult personalities without exception have always been a means of making money for the ruling organizations. Once boxers were pawns in the hands of powerful mafia structures and even religious organizations like the Nation of Islam. Now they have been replaced by businessmen who do their own deals on the basis of legal rights. The example of Saul Alvarez demonstrates that despite his super talent, amazing achievements, crazy popularity, and huge earnings, an iconic boxer is just a tool in the hands of powerful businessmen. Being the face of boxing is a huge honor, but also a heavy burden. Controversy has always been and will always be in boxing because there are two sides to this coin. But we love it not for what happens outside the ring, but for what happens inside this platform. There are two boxers and one goal: the desire to be the best.